Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, are LeBron and the Cavs back in the driver's seat after tying up their series with the Pacers? Plus, Joel Klatt stops by to talk all the latest NFL draft buzz. And are Russell Westbrook and the Thunder not built for playoff success? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. Let's start with a huge night from the King. Ty Lue told LeBron to set the tone early, and he did just that. LeBron scored the Cavs' first 16 points of the game and 20 overall in the first quarter. He finished with 46 points and 12 rebounds. The Pacers were down big early on, but they still had a chance to tie the game late in the fourth. Victor Oladipo missed a wide-open three, and the series is now tied 1-1. LeBron talked about his great start after the game. Let's take a listen.
Coach Lue called up the first play for me and went down. So we went back to it. I was able to hit another one, and just felt like I was in a really good rhythm. So just try to see how long I could stay in that zone and just try to make a mark on the game early on, especially after the way we started at game one.
Shannon, did you like LeBron's new approach?
No, not really, because it's not conducive for them to win long term.
Really? I'm surprised you're saying that.
You score 46 points, you have 12 rebounds, 5 assists, and their best player has a wide open three with about 20 seconds left in the ball game to tie you. That's not sustainable, Skip. I believe LeBron would much rather have 30, 12, and say 7 or 8. Because what happens is that when he gets it going, there's a lot of standing around and watching. And then when they come and make him give the ball up, no one else was capable of hitting shots. There's no way LeBron James goes off like he does, and this game's supposed to be that close. It really shouldn't be. But when you have Kevin Love, who's your second best player, gets 15 points, but it takes him 16 shots. J.R. Smith played how many minutes J.R. played? J.R. played 35 minutes, gave you 5 points. George Hill was in foul trouble. If the the role players that LeBron are counting on, if they just give you their average during the season, nothing else, this game's a 30-point win. But when you get guys that's playing below what they're capable of, the game is a lot closer than what it needs to be. No, this is not a good way for them to play, because when LeBron gets it going like this, everybody is standing in the corner in amazement. And that's not conducive to win long-term, Skip, because there are going to be times that they're going to rely on, they're going to make him give the ball up. They can do that. They can trap him. They can send 3 guys, and he has to have enough confidence, and he will, to pass it to the open guy, and they make the shot. I don't know what happened to Jeff Green. The dude got 2 points in 2 games, Skip. Rodney Hood, I don't know what happened to him, because he was knocking down shots. Now he can't knock down shots, turning the ball over at an alarming rate, and he's not playing D. So, no, I did not like – I mean, it was great to watch. I mean, to see him going, it just goes to show you, if he really wanted to score like a bunch of other guys that are known for assassin, that killer mentality, he would just rip your heart out. LeBron says, if I really –
Who are you talking about?
This is my time.
I don't know who you're talking about. I really don't. Are you talking about Durant or Michael Jordan?
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I don't know. LeBron James says, if I really wanted to take this many shots in the playoffs, like someone else we know that wore the same number that I wear.
That guy. There's what
I can go get those buckets like that.
We're talking about the real 23, not 35 at Golden State.
But that's not who I am. Okay. LeBron James knows what makes him unique. If LeBron James scored 30 points a night, that doesn't make him unique, because there's a lot of guys. Wilt averaged 34 career. Jordan. What makes LeBron James so unique is the ability to not only score, but to rebound and also assist the basketball. That's what makes him unique. But no, I did not. I'm glad they won. LeBron was unbelievable. But Skip, you and I both know, moving forward, this can't happen.
Well, help me out here.
Yes.
Shannon Sharpe.
Okay.
Would you rather have Game 1 first quarter LeBron or Game 2 first quarter LeBron? Where do you fall in between those two?
I would like to see LeBron have, say, 12 points and 5 or 6 assists in the first quarter.
Because in Game 1, obviously, he played his worst first quarter of his playoff career.
Yes.
And tied for his worst playoff quarter ever in his career.
Yes.
And he didn't take a shot for, the first 10 minutes of that game, Game 1. And obviously they lost that first quarter 33-14, but they did win last night's first quarter 33-18, correct?
Yes.
So you would like a little bit of balance in between those two?
Yes.
Or would you prefer more the Game 1 first quarter?
Well, I don't like the fact that he had 20 and then you see a bunch of 2s and 3s up there. That's not good, Skip.
It was interesting. And I must say, it was spectacular to watch. That was a tour de force by that guy.
Yeah.
That was a display. That was an exhibition of watch this. And LeBron made a pointed point after the game of, I didn't say I was going to be more aggressive. My coach said I was supposed to be more aggressive. And I think there was a little bit of, I think he was gnashing a little bit of teeth there saying, well, my coach called me out, and we talked about it. And I think Ty Lue did call him out. LeBron said, okay, watch this. So is it Ty Lue's fault that LeBron shot too much in the first quarter? I don't think so.
No.
Because it was an amazing display to me of all LeBron.
It was almost like Boston, Game 6.
It was. And when he gets it going, if he's making his threes on top of attacking, then you got
nothing.
no shot.
You got nothing.
And if he's making the Jordan-esque fallaways, which he made a couple, one a little lucky, but he was just
no luck.
Well, it bounced around
No,
about 5 times.
don't do that.
and
Don't
fell
do that,
through.
Skip.
Well, it did. But he had it going. He was into his bag, as they say.
That toolbox was
It was
open.
a toolbox. He had it all wide open.
Yeah.
He just spilled it all over
Yeah.
the Pacers. Quick point on that, though. Do you realize Nate McMillan, he's a wily head coach now. He's been around.
Yeah.
Remember, this is his 14th year as a head coach. Remember, he went Seattle, Portland, Pacers.
Correct.
Been around, knows a thing or two about a thing or two. So it shocked me, and again, because I was rooting against you because of our little 8-point bet, but I was like, Nate, what are you doing? He put Bogdanovich on LeBron for most of the night. Bogdanovich?
Yes.
Now, Bogdanovich is 6'8", but he can't guard LeBron James.
No one can do it.
Okay, so I think Nate just basically said going into the game, I think he was anticipating that salvo from LeBron in the first quarter, and I think he was trying to tell his team, just weather the storm. For one thing, it's going to take a lot out of him, and it did. You saw him at the end of the first quarter. He was just dripping, man, because that took a lot of energy.
It does.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Nate's saying, I'm just going to put Bogdanovich on him and say, just hang in there.
Right.
Just do the best you can. And they did not double him in the first quarter. It wasn't like they were running 3 guys at him.
No.
And I think they were saying, Rodney Hood beat us. Whoever, name
Kyle
somebody.
Korver.
You guys
Kevin
beat
Love.
us. Yeah, all of
George
you guys.
Hill.
You guys, you're on. You be the stars tonight.
Right.
We'll let LeBron, if he wants 60, he can have 60, but somebody else is going to have to score 40 more points to beat us, right? Okay? So, if you had told the Pacers going into last night's game, LeBron's going to go for 46 on 17 of 24 shots, but your best player is going to have a wide open 3-point shot with 27 seconds left. Will you thank you, God, we will take that,
Absolutely.
correct?
Absolutely.
Because as much as LeBron scored, the thing that was happening at the same time was Victor Oladipo wasn't scoring. What happened to start the game? And I'm going to boil this game down for you. Again, I was looking at it more from the Pacers' perspective. Game 1 was basically won because of Victor Oladipo.
Yes.
Game 2 was basically lost because of Victor Oladipo. So what happened in the first 1 minute of the game, Mr. Sharpe?
He picked up some quick fouls.
We went bang, bang, 2 offensive fouls because it looked to me like Victor Oladipo, who said we plan to win Game 2 and said so convincingly, I think he's a little overamped.
He's
right?
ultra aggressive.
He was just a little over the top aggressive, and he pushed off on LeBron, and he runs into, I forget whoever.
Korver, I think.
Korver just ran over something. And it's like, Victor, what are you doing? So Nate yanks him after 102 of the game has transpired. 102, and he goes to the bench. Now, if I'm Nate McMillan, and I'm obviously not, when LeBron finally got it to 26-8 after scoring 18 of the first 26 points, I'm just saying, Victor, I'm sorry, you got to go back in. That was at the 4:34 mark of the first quarter. And instead, Nate said, nope, I'm going to sit him for the whole first quarter. So Victor Oladipo, easily their best player, played for 1 minute of the first quarter. So LeBron is going off, and it's going to end up 33-18, and Victor's not going to play more than the first minute. Mr. Sharpe, then what happened when he came back in the second quarter? Here came Indiana.
Right.
Correct? So second quarter, the Pacers win at 28-25. The third quarter, the Pacers win at 21-16. The fourth quarter, the Pacers scored 30 points and won at 30-26. So suddenly they're creeping back into the game because LeBron couldn't keep up. the onslaught, although he got all the way to 46. But Victor Oladipo started to play pretty well.
Yeah.
And then in the third quarter, after I campaigned for it yesterday, guess what happened? LeBron James said, let me take Victor. And in the third quarter, he attempted to take Victor quite a bit for most of the third quarter.
Yeah.
And guess what I saw, Mr. Sharpe? He couldn't cover him.
No,
LeBron had a hard time.
Yeah.
Victor's just a little too quick for him.
He is, and plus, it took so much out of him, Skip. That first quarter took a lot out of him. Because you have to understand, he's not getting his points as effortless as, say, a James Harden or as effortless as a Kevin Durant. He's a drive, he's a absorb contact guy getting to the bucket. So those bumps and bruises over the course of a game, and what makes it so much more difficult, Harden is not, they got Capella. Capella's basically going to get all the rebounds. They got Ariza. He's going to get a lot of the rebounds. And so LeBron knows LeBron can never have an off night, and they win a ball game, especially in the playoffs.
That's a fact.
Because we've seen guys, we're going to talk about James Harden, goes 2 for 18, and they win by 20. LeBron James goes.
That's, to me, that's more about the Timberwolves than about the Rockets, but we'll get to that later.
But here's the thing. LeBron James goes 7 of 17 in game 1, and they lose by 20. So he can't have an off night. But the best thing LeBron was trying to do was deny Victor an opportunity to get the ball. Because once he got the ball in his hands, they're going to clear out, and then he starts dancing.
Okay.
But the defense, Skip, you got to make up your mind. Okay, it was apparent to me. They were going to trap or blitz the pick and roll. And then on the last play in the pick and roll, everybody rolls with the guy going to the basket and leave Victor Oladipo wide open. You've trapped it every time. You've blitzed it every time. Why this time? All of a sudden, everybody take the roll man. Larry Nance Jr., you got help on your inside. You don't give Victor Oladipo the baseline to the basket. It's just common things. They trap the pick and roll. JR's, I don't know what JR mind is, Skip. And then they get backdoor layups. And he raised his hand like, yeah, my bad. Yeah, bro, I see it. Yeah, it's your bad. Yeah, it was you.
So I do have to give JR one big point from last night. He did, for much of the game, take Victor Oladipo when Victor was in the game.
Right.
And I thought a crucial turning point momentum play happened with 3:05 left in the game when Oladipo lost the handle briefly and just kind of nonchalantly went after the ball, and JR just dogged him and attacked him and relentlessly went after the ball and it separated him from the ball a second time and just went and got it and scored it. And it was a big moment. It put them back up 7 and gave them enough of a cushion they could withstand the Pacers' onslaught that was about to come from Darren Collison. I'm going to remind everybody, Darren Collison led this league in three-point shooting, 47%. And he hadn't made one until those last couple of minutes. And all of a sudden, he made 2. And they were huge because all of a sudden, it cuts it to 3. Then my man George Hill, ex-Spur, he not only missed a shot, but then he offensive fouls, pushes off.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, it's timeout, Pacers ball, down 3. And I'm thinking, okay, LeBron, are you going to take him or is JR going to take him? And they decided in the huddle, clearly, JR is going to take Oladipo as he dribbles the ball up the floor.
Correct.
And then to your point, for reasons I can't understand, Bogdanovich came and sat just a sort of a so-so pick. It wasn't any big deal.
No.
And JR, this is just me. You just fight through it. It's easy to fight through that one. It wasn't going to nail you. He could have just slipped right through, and he just gave up quickly and said, no, we're going to switch. And it was up to Kyle Korver to switch, and Kyle's kind of looking at JR, and they're looking at each other, and Victor just dribbles off to the right wing and looks around and says,
me?
I guess I can shoot this, right? And the problem was he was so wide open, he was too wide open, and I thought he missed it badly.
Yeah, but you know what's good, what I really want to talk about? There was something that transpired because up until that point, LeBron James had 42 points. Now, he ended up with 46. If you don't mind telling the people at home, how did he get those last 4 points?
He made those free throws.
Oh, hold on, Skip. I got to set it up. Let me give you the setup. I'm going to tee you up. Now, it's been reported that LeBron James, there was a big old article last year written about how LeBron James avoids getting the ball in late game situations because those demons are in his head. There was a big old article, Joe, I'm talking about like 6 pages, how he runs from the free throw line. Now,
historically, he has run from it when he has the choice to run from it.
I'm saying
Did he have the choice last night? No, he did not.
He could have gave up the ball.
No, they just, as soon as he touched the ball, they just attacked him.
He got the rebound, and they fouled him because that one. The next time, guess what happened, Skip?
Were these do or die free throws?
Yeah.
No, they weren't.
Oh, so now they need to be doing, because here's the thing. Now, you told me last time this was an opportunity to make it moot. It was going to be a 4-point game. It was going to be a 5-point game.
What happened in Philly at the end of the regular season when he got fouled on the 3-point shot?
Oh, so now those do or die.
Well, I'd say those are do or die because you got to make 3 to get to overtime.
So what about these right here?
Well, these are just holding them off.
Oh.
This is going to put it up 5,
So let me ask you,
6.
if he hits those 3 free throws, do they win the game?
What do you mean, do they win?
In Philly, if he makes all 3 of those free throws, do they win the game?
Well, it gives you a shot at overtime.
Oh, okay. So what did these free throws do?
Just held off the Pacers.
So let me ask you. So I know what would have been said had he, even though he had 45 points, had he missed those free throws, Indiana win the game. That would have been the narrative.
Well,
not how well he played.
I know, but the Pacers didn't cash.
Oh.
Oladipo missed a wide open 3, and then he comes down again, has another chance to cut it to just 1 point. What did he do, Shannon?
See?
Help me out. What did he do?
Who?
Victor. With 10 seconds left, he has a chance to cut it to 1, and now we're going to have another game. We got it back on the table.
We won't have nothing. It wasn't gonna be nothing.
Victor shot an air ball.
Yeah, okay. What you
He
want me to-
airballed from 3.
But see, Skip, and that's the thing. See, I don't base on results. I look at the totality of it. See, you like to look at the game, okay, well, he missed this, so he couldn't have played well. But he didn't. He didn't give you that opportunity. Made them old clutch free throws, stepped up like I knew he would.
Yeah, but it didn't bother me a bit because I had 8 points, and I was still sitting real pretty.
I don't even care nobody. I don't care nobody that do. Because you know what?
Oh, you don't
There was
care,
there was a stat that
you
came.
would have cared if you had won.
I'd have cared
You'd
if I'd
have come
lost.
out here with yak.
No. You know what? There have been, in the last 35 years, a 40, 10, and 5 game. Skip, do you know that LeBron James has 10 such games? 40, 10, and 5.
That's good.
The next 2 closest players combined, Joy, they have a grand total of 8. One Shaquille O'Neal, and the other is arguably the greatest basketball player of all time. One Michael Jeffrey Jordan. So you mean to tell me, Skip, the greatest player of all times in the last 35 years has only had how many of those games?
Wait, he only had 5 assists last night?
40, 10, that's my point. Thank you. I'm glad you...
Wait, you called a triple-double last night. You almost called it by halftime.
And this is my point. This is why I said, no, the way LeBron playing like this is not good because they will concede giving him 40, 50. You just can't give him 30 and let him have 15 assists because that means Rodney Hood, because nobody else can create their own shot with the exception of Jordan Clarkson, who has not been playing well, I might add. But you and I both know this is not sustainable. And we're going to talk about it later, what Ty Lue said. What'd he say?
LeBron doesn't have enough help. We're hearing it again. It's already back. The excuse is back.
It would have been great.
LeBron doesn't have enough help.
LeBron says, you know what?
Yet, I thought Ty Lue made the move of the night. He inserted JR and Kyle Korver in the
I'll tell you big changes were coming.
I thought they both played really well.
I knew big changes was coming. Okay. You can't, Skip, you can't have a situation. Jeff Green scored 0 points.
Okay, but Kyle Korver played.
He gave
4 threes.
Yes.
I thought he shot it great.
And there's a big clutch one in that corner.
Okay.
That short porch.
Yeah.
Knocked it down.
Yeah.
Don't do that,
I
Skip.
like that one in game 2.
Yeah, he missed it. He missed.
One that really mattered.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. You don't know what a person would do under pressure until he's under pressure. Nobody knew. How many times had Michael Jordan taken that shot as a freshman in that kind of situation? He never had.
He was a freshman.
My point is, Skip.
He made the shot of the year in college basketball as a freshman.
But, Skip.
Was that a sign of things to come? I would say yes.
That's my point. Had he missed it, you like, why are you letting the freshman take that shot? Why didn't the college player of the year, the Wooden, the Naismith, ACC, big game James Worthy, why didn't he take that shot?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, because you know why? Because he made the right play. They swung the ball. Michael Jordan was wide open. He hit the shot.
Michael Jordan said, I'm just going to step up.
And guess what happened? LeBron James made the right play. Kyle Korver missed the shot. But you know what? 30-15, 30 and 12, 30 and 15. That's more sustainable for winning.
Shannon Sharpe.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of Diet Mountain Dew case bets.
Yes.
So we have another case bet on the fact that you say that LeBron James is going to make 80% of his postseason free throws.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I said.
So what is he sitting on right now, in spite of the 4 he made in a row to end the game last night? Where is he? Help me out.
He's probably in the 70%.
He's probably at 74%, which is his career playoff percentage.
He about to go
74%.
next 2 games, he'll be perfect.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
bump that up.
So you realize you're already losing another case.
I'm going to get it back. I'm going to get it back in game 3.
Okay.
Because we're going to bet who wins game 3.
Are we really?
Yeah, we are.
Maybe I won't fall for that.
Oh, don't do that, Skip.
Maybe
So let me get this right.
I don't get suckered.
So let me get this right. You done got a case of my due, and now you won't give me a chance to win it
I
back.
got lots of cases of your due, and I might or might not give you a chance.
Boy, that's you dirty, Skip.
You brought your wrecking ball today?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Got it old.
Is that
See, Joe, I was going to give you
No,
one.
I'm
'cause
talking about your thing.
Oh, that was LeBron. LeBron was wrecking,
Or is
came
that,
like
is
a
that
wrecking
a
ball.
medieval flail?
Yeah,
What is
thing
it
you swing
exactly?
around?
It's a mace?
No, that's not what you call that. You call that swag.
Swag?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
No mercy.
Hey guys, Joy Taylor here. Before the show moves along, I wanted to tell you that support for the Undisputed podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. They understand that home plays a big role in your life and family. That's why they created Rocket Mortgage. Rocket Mortgage gives you the confidence you need when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. It's simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you're getting the right mortgage for you. Whether you're looking to buy your first home or your 10th, with Rocket Mortgage, you get a transparent online process that gives you the confidence to make an informed decision. It's convenient. Our trusted partners allow you to share your financial information with Rocket Mortgage at the touch of a button. And in addition to getting a real mortgage approval in minutes, you can even adjust the rate and length of your loan in real time to make sure you're getting the right solution for you. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/undisputed. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
No mercy.
LeBron went off last night, scoring 20 points in the first quarter and 46 total in the Cavs win. The series is now tied 1-1, but LeBron scored nearly half of the team's 100 points. Ty Lue addressed that after the game. Let's take a listen.
Do you need to see more out of Rodney and
I need
Clarkson?
to see more out of a lot of guys. Yeah. I think they'll get more and more comfortable. But like I said before, just having LeBron and Caleb set the tone early, I think, would open it up for a lot of those guys. But they see what it takes. You know, if you want to be champions, if you want to, go back to the NBA Finals, teams are going to come after us. And we've had a lot of first-round tough matchups, the whole 4 years I've been here. So it hasn't been easy, and they have to understand that. And we just got to be ready to get into the fight.
We're joined by Rob Parker. Welcome, Rob. Good morning.
What's happening? Good morning.
Rob, how much help does LeBron need?
There's not enough help. There's just.
So you for real?
I'm for real. There's just not enough. This is what I've been talking about. When you had the parade after the trade deadline about all these guys, and he looked around. I would have shot 12 times in the first quarter if I looked around and Kyrie wasn't on the court, and I looked around and said, should I pass it to that dude over there, or should I just do it myself? So I get why LeBron is going to do. He's probably going to score 40 points a night in order to keep his team
in the ball game.
In contention to try to get to the finals, just to lose again. He'll do. Remember, in the finals, he had a triple-double. He had to score average a
32,
triple-double.
32, 10, and 10.
Just for them to get swept in 5 games. But now he's going to have to. It was
Sweep was
5
4
games.
games.
No, a 5-game sweep. Now he's going to have to do what he's doing the whole way through. These guys, same thing. You think maybe he thought, maybe I shouldn't have got rid of Dwayne Wade so quickly. Dwayne Wade had 28 points the other night. I bet you he would feel better with Dwayne Wade as a guy who's been there, done that, even at his age, than Hood and Hill and Clarkson and Nance. These guys are not going to get you anywhere. They're nice role players, but where's his other guy? It ain't Love.
Well, it should be.
It ain't Korver. It's not. But it's not. So, Skip, be ready. Here we go with all the excuses again.
You just gave him.
LeBron doesn't have anybody. I'm just telling you.
You just said he doesn't have
But
enough.
he endorsed all of this. He was the one who didn't like the group that he had. He's the one who quit playing in December and stood around and didn't want to play, made the team look bad so that they had to panic.
Oh, he made the team look bad.
Yeah, he did.
Did you see those guys?
His plus minus was awful. And all I'm saying is he would have been better off with some of those more experienced guys this time of the year than role players who have never been there, Shannon. This is what he signed up for. I don't want to hear any belly aching from LeBron. Go out there, score 40, 50 points a night, barely win 3 points to Indiana Pacers at home.
Rob, you arguing against your own
No, I'm
argument.
not. I'm just telling you that this is what he signed up for,
Hey,
so I
but
don't
Rob,
want to hear
you
it.
can't use the word excuse. You're saying he has
It
legitimate
make excuse,
reasons.
but then said, I don't want to hear the excuse.
But this is what we're going to hear. But I'm just saying this is what he signed up for when they made all those
You're
deals.
saying he legitimately does not have enough help.
I don't see it. I don't. You know, they could say you want these guys to do more. They're not going to.
How about they do
They
their
can't
average?
be better players than
How
they
about we
really
get the
are.
average, Skip? How about we get the average? LeBron, how much help does LeBron need? More than he's getting. Skip, I'm going to tell you a true story. My grandfather gave my brother and I $1 to wash his truck. So I'm doing the tires, my brother, he's washing it. My grandfather comes out there and looks at it. He looks at the truck, he looks at us. He say, anything is better than nothing, but you two fellas are real close to nothing. My brother looks at me, I look at him, we utter to ourselves, oh, we nothing, huh? So anything is better than nothing, but this cash that he got, real close to nothing.
Did your grandfather get his $2 back?
No, he ain't getting nothing back. Skip, Jeff Green was averaging 11 points a game this season. What is he averaging now? 1. Jordan Clarkson was averaging 12 since he got to Cleveland. What's he averaging now? 4. Rodney Hood was averaging 11 points since he arrived in Cleveland. He's averaging 7.
Shannon.
Kevin Love averaging 18 points a game. Now he's giving you 12 on 33% shooting. I don't need you to be great.
Shannon.
I just give me your average.
Is this a regular season of meaningless games where you're playing these terrible teams that are below 500, or is this the playoffs now?
It's the playoffs.
Okay, so that's not going to be the same average. Most of those players are not going to average what they average during the regular season in meaningless games.
Okay,
It doesn't happen.
How about LeBron?
It doesn't happen.
How about LeBron?
LeBron's different. He's a great player. I'm talking about the average Joe.
Average. Well, you Skip. I mean, Rob, you can't say they're average and then turn around and say, well, LeBron, I don't want to hear anything about it. You arguing against your argument.
No, I'm not. All I'm saying
No, you
is,
can't say my only. Skip just said, you said he has an excuse, but then in the same breath you said he can't use that as an excuse.
But the idea that you're expecting, or Tyrone Lewis saying he's expecting more from these guys.
Not more.
I don't. What more?
Skip,
I don't.
Skip, you don't mean to tell me you can't expect more than 1 point for Jeff Green?
Oh, come on. I don't mean 1 point.
Okay,
But they're not going
So
to.
now to you, LeShannon.
Yes,
Which team did you pick to win the NBA title this year?
Cleveland.
Because?
LeBron, and I thought Kevin Love would be.
Okay. Do you have excuses or no excuses? You're telling me they're not good enough to win the championship, but you picked them to win the championship.
But you saw them play.
I thought they would go. First of all, I thought Isaiah was healthy. Okay.
No, I'm talking about going into the playoffs.
Yeah,
I still loved him.
Yeah, I did. I still do. But I can't love what I'm seeing, Skip. It's just like what you saw with Russ. You know, Carmelo, Russ, and Paul George playing like that, they can't win. But if they play like the way you're capable, that's all we're asking. We're not asking Jeff Green to go to a 20-point night score. We're not asking JR to be a 15-point a night score. How about just give us what you've done since you've been in Cleveland? That's all we ask.
I thought Kyle Korver and J.R. Smith played really big last night.
Yeah.
I thought LeBron did get a lot of help from
J.R.
those
Smith
two.
defensively, he did some stuff.
He did a lot defensively. I thought the whole team cranked it up defensively to a level I had not seen all year. Now, that was mostly in the first quarter.
Right.
But they played hard on defense all night. What's the final score? 197. So they held them to 97. What was it?
98.
98. So, again, Indiana plays slow for the most part, but they didn't have Oladipo for the whole first quarter. Remember, he had to sit 11 I wouldn't have sat him that long, but he sat 11 minutes of the first quarter, and then they came back with Oladipo, quarter 2, 3, and 4, and guess who won those quarters? Indiana won all 3 quarters, barely, but they won them, which is why they crept back into the game, and Oladipo winds up with a wide-open 3 to tie the game with 27 seconds left, and he missed it badly. So it came down to that shot by that guy. He won game one because he just took over game one.
Right.
In this one, he didn't play all that well in. So we get back to help. Kyle Korver played his butt off last night.
Made some great defensive plays.
And he made 4 threes, and they're those kind where it barely even touches his hands, and it's just gone, and it's just clean as a whistle. And you say, that's just too good, man. And he was flying on defense, and I don't think he can defend anybody, but he tries hard.
Yeah, he does.
Right?
He does. He's an effort guy. Stripped Miles Turner.
He did.
He got a timeout on one, diving on the floor, took some charges. But the thing is that all you're not asking the guys to not do anything that you haven't seen them do already.
I got it, but it's the difference between
Okay, what about
postseason
Kevin
and
Love?
regular
Okay,
season.
tell me about Kevin Love.
All right, Kevin Love can play better. He's a veteran guy. I got that. And if that's his number 2 guy, LeBron's going to have to score 40 or 50 points to win.
He scored
Kyrie's
40.
28 points are missing.
Yeah, I mean,
What
Rob,
do you
he
make that?
scored 46, and Victor Oladipo missed a wide open 3 to tie the game. Think about it. Let that sink in. 46, 12, and 5. That's what he scored. And he won the game by 3 points.
Okay, but the key number is not the first number or the second number. It's your third number,
Yes.
which is 5.
Exactly.
Which could be 12, right? Assists.
Yes.
Nope. And he's taken the scoring load up on his own shoulders. Are they converting some of his passes? They
No.
were not. But Kyle was.
Yeah.
Kyle Korver, he was
But
fourth Korver, man.
I mean, you look at it. I'm like, come on. I'm like, Rodney Hood, I know you're better than that.
Do you?
Jeff Green, I know because I've seen it. I've seen it.
Yeah, you need Jeff Green to play because
Yes.
he's been there. He knows
Yes.
this.
But some of these other guys in the trade,
And-
come on,
but-
Skip.
but,
Would
okay,
you
I
acknowledge that?
I got it. Because this stage is big and bright, and you're playing with the beast of the East. And
Yes.
when he walks in the locker room before these games,
Yeah.
his whole aura is different.
Yes.
This is real. This is
You're
for
right.
this is for all the money.
Yes.
You know, we're just pushing all the chips to the middle of the table. Now it's real. Jordan Clarkson's looking around like, what? You mean this is like
Yeah.
different than those
He was
other
on the
games?
Lakers when they weren't going to the playoffs or playing in any big. How many big games do you think he played in?
No, Rodney Hood played in a playoff series
Yeah.
last year, the first round against the Clippers. It's
Nance.
But Skip, you remember how they were playing? They go to Boston.
Yep.
And they're playing. They go to OKC.
They destroyed them.
Destroyed them.
Yeah.
You're talking about the first 2 games after the trade where everybody wants to, like, you know, when you get traded away, you want to show people.
euphoria.
There is.
Yeah.
There's like, hey, they got rid of me. I'm going to come out and show them what they missed, and you
Yep.
played much better than you really do. I get it. But it was the first 2 games.
I just want them to just give me your average. I don't want you to do anything. I don't want Jeff Green to give me 17 a night.
Okay.
I don't want Clarkson to give me 20 a night. I don't want Rodney Hood to give me. Just give your average.
So we have not mentioned one player who played 0 minutes last night, and he might be an emotional wreck right now. I don't know because he's been going through a lot of stuff.
What are you going through?
I don't know.
You know.
I know what it is, and I don't even want to get into it because I don't care about it. But usually these guys can leave that outside the arena, and this is their sanctuary, and they can come in and play. I have seen Tristan Thompson play at extremely high levels in huge NBA Finals games. And I don't know how he got pushed all the way into the doghouse at the end of the bench. He played 0 last night. You don't think he could contribute some?
He going through something right now, Skip.
Okay.
That's a lot of weight.
I know, but a lot of guys go through stuff.
How'd that work out for Tiger? When he went through what he went through publicly. A lot of guys go through things.
Yeah, but that was...
But here's the thing.
That was a disaster. That was just like...
Skip! The man girlfriend about to deliver a baby, and they're running all this stuff on every news station in America. You don't think that's messing with his psyche?
But sometimes it's a place to get away and just do what you do and block that out for 48 minutes and
They
just
booty.
go crazy.
He got in the game in Cleveland, they booty. They asking, where's Chloe? Come on, Skip. How that man supposed to handle that?
Just play. Just fight back.
Block it out.
Yeah.
How about Tiger? Why Tiger can't block it out?
It's an individual sport.
You're right.
The
Tristan
pressure that's
Thompson's
on
not the-
Tiger Woods is not on Tristan Thompson.
They're not yelling Tiger. Let's go to
But
Perkins.
Remember, Tiger went to rehab. Remember that? He went away for like 3 months. And then he had to do a mea culpa press conference. Come on.
Well, it must have didn't work.
And
Because
you know what happened?
that girl got a lawsuit.
And by the way, Tiger had like 29 different injuries, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Tristan's, I'm pretty sure he's 100% healthy, I think.
I think he had 29 different partners, too.
Oh, there you go. Look at you. You
just
keep
had
it
to say
tabs.
that.
You keep it. What you
Okay,
got?
you my bad, Skip. But seriously, Skip,
got a roster
I'll
over
agree.
there?
I'll agree. I'm surprised that Double T is not playing more meaningful minutes than what he's played.
Meaningful.
How about
Not
any?
any.
He played what? But that wasn't meaningful because that was mop-up duty, Skip.
No, 0. He played. He didn't.
Yeah.
He never got in.
But remember, game 1, he came in when the game was out of hand.
Yeah, like 2
Where's
minutes.
Jetty? We were putting Jetty on the All-Star
Yeah,
pedestal
Jetty.
for a while.
Yeah,
He played
Jetty was-
none. You know what? Jetty comes in. He's
Yeah,
fearless.
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, let's have him.
We got jettison.
Rob, thanks for joining us.
No mercy.
The Jazz tied their series with the Thunder last night with a 102-95 win in OKC. Donovan Mitchell led everybody with 28 points. The Thunder had the lead going into the fourth quarter, but their big three of Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony missed every shot they took in the fourth, combining to go 0 for 14. Shannon, what did this game tell you?
This is why I can't have any trust, and no one should have any trust in OKC, Skip. The two just inconsistent. Their big three went, what was that, 13? So 19 of 58. Skip, you can't win like that. Paul George had 18 points, but it took him 21 shots. Russell had 19 points on 19 shots. Melo had 17 points on 18 shots. Skip, they have to play well. At least one of them needs to play very well if the other two are struggling. But when all three struggle, you can't win. And then they get the balance scoring Rubio, 5 of 8. Now, what's the likelihood of him doing that again?
A lot. He's been doing
Oh,
it
you
all
like-
year.
you like-
You haven't watched.
You like
haven't
Rubio?
watched. I don't like him, but he's been doing it all year. He's been playing
He
at a
shot
high level.
Skip, he shot a career.
You keep taking shots at him, and he makes a lot of shots.
Skip, he shot a career high 35%. You say LeBron James is a terrible three-point shooter, and he shot 36.4%. So what am I missing?
Did you see what this team did over the last 40 games of the year?
Well,
And it was led by Ricky Rubio, the point guard.
Well, Ricky Rubio should be Rookie of the Year then. Because you keep telling me Donovan Mitchell that guy, and now all of a sudden Ricky Rubio's the guy.
No, he runs the show, and he makes shots. He's been playing really well.
Oh, well, I missed that part that Donovan Mitchell going 13 points in the fourth quarter, outscoring the big three by himself. But okay, I digress. You say that's the reason why, so be it. But Derek Favors did not show up in game 1. He showed up huge in game 2. Ricky Rubio was awful shooting the basketball in game 1. He played a consistent ball game in game 2. When you get that kind of balanced scoring and OKC is going to do this, Skip, you know you and okay, granted, Utah played well over the last 40 games. That's, you supposed to beat Houston Rockets like this? You're going to beat Golden State like this? No, come on, Skip. You know better than that. They've been inconsistent all year long. There's a reason why they win 10, 11, 10 out of 12, and then they'll lose 12 out of 16. Yep. There's a reason why. The inconsistency is that what I see. Big Steven Adams fouled out last night, but only 9 points, 7 rebounds. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. And look, Russell is, he plays hard. What them shooting numbers tell you, Skip?
Yep. Tell me when you're finished.
I'm done.
Not once this year was I as disappointed in the Thunder as I was last night, but only in the fourth quarter. This team has played up and down to levels of competition, but when it plays up, it really plays up. It can play up to Golden State. It wiped out Golden State twice. It beat Houston. I can go on and on. They had games in which they went to Cleveland. I know LeBron was struggling at that point, and they'll throw 148 at you.
Which is the season high for the year, I think.
It was. Scored. They went on a 19-0 run in the third quarter, and they look like a potential NBA champ.
Yes.
And then they took their foot a little bit off the gas late in the third quarter, and then this thing happened. And the new sidekick, the new Victor Oladipo, who I've said is a little better as a sidekick than Victor Oladipo, George Paul. And I'm going to call him George Paul.
Man, the man just dropped 36 2 days ago, Skip.
But he turned back into George Paul last night because at the end of the third quarter and through the fourth quarter, do you realize he missed his last 9 3-point shots? He went 0 for 9, late third, all the way through the fourth. Help me out. What's going to happen, Shannon?
You're going to lose.
If your second best player goes 0 for 9?
How you going to lose?
Which brings me to the third best player. I have defended Carmelo Anthony for years on national television because he can score the basketball, as you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've also defended him because I have witnessed Carmelo Anthony make a lot of big, what I would call clutch shots.
Yeah.
Not for in big moments for great teams.
Not a whole lot of playoff moments, but in the regular season.
He will make big shots.
Absolutely.
And last night down the stretch, Russell Westbrook made 3 big mistakes. He said, "Here, Melo, you do it." And he gave him the ball 3 times in late game situations. And if we could see him in a row, these are all passes from Russ to Melo. Here's the first one on a trail, and he goes up and he clangs it. And now we're getting late in the game, and here it comes, and swing. Oh, Russ kicked it right over to Melo, and it clanged off the back iron. And this is the killer. This is one to cut it to a 1-point game, and way short. And that was the one, look at Russell slam the ball on the baseline and then throw it to the official out at the top of the circle. He was furious because he thought on that one when he kicked it back to Melo because his dribble got stopped, he thought Melo would give it back to Russ and let Russ take the big shot at that point. So there are 3 straight shots where clutch Melo was extremely unclutch. And those are 3 shots that get you to within 1 point. So to me, Russ had 4 assists in the fourth quarter, and guess who had 3 of them? Steven Adams. He has a real good rapport with Steven Adams. As you know, the reason Russ can average a triple-double in large part is he has good rapport with that big guy.
He gets 4 a night to Steven Adams.
Just leave it for him. Drop it off to him. And Steven Adams, as you know, is a highly skilled 7-foot man, and he's going to make shots around the rim.
Correct.
Steven Adams, as you point out, fouled out with 2:48 left, and I think that just pretty much ended the Oklahoma City Thunder as we knew and loved them in this game. I'm not talking about for the series. But they missed 12 of their last 13 three-point shots. What's going to happen, Shannon? You're going to lose.
You're going to lose.
And just before I get to Russ, let me say, I've been just beating the drum over here for Donovan Mitchell. I got to tell you, he is a young terror in this league.
He's special.
He's got Russell Westbrook in him. He has extreme, supreme athleticism when he attacks the rim, and he attacks it with abandon, man. He is just going at it. And he's going to make shots that you'll just say, that's just too good, man. You're just too good.
Yeah.
And he's a team guy. If you could have, for those who out in viewerland who sat and watched late NBA TV where they had all 4 of those guys, including Ricky Rubio, all the 4 stars for the Utah Jazz sat at the podium with Donovan and the Mitchell sort of presiding over it. And the quote from Quinn Snyder is always, the strength of our team is our team. So they are team first, and Donovan is team first. He has high character, great intangibles. He's not a solo act. He believes in his brothers, and it was a joy to watch him play, even though obviously I was rooting for the Thunder. But as you point out, he didn't make a three-point shot. He went 0 for 7 from 3, but did he not take over the fourth quarter?
Yeah, he did.
When the Thunder said, we don't want it, Donovan said, okay, I'll take it.
Skip. When the home team, Utah had been winning basically the entire game because they started the game with a 9-0 run.
They did.
And then here come OKC to match it with their own 9-0 run. And then
19-0.
And then PG hit a 3, got a 4-point play. So the game is getting, and Utah's doing well. And then at the end, like the third, they go on this 19-0 run. Skip, that normally a young team like this, it would wipe them out.
It would.
But for them to remain composed in that hostile environment and says we're not going away, and to win the game how they won it in that fashion, OKC got problems on their hands, Skip. Now, granted, they have the exact same record, 48-48, so this 4-5 matchup is not that big of a difference.
Nope.
Just in names, Oklahoma City has the big names. They got the Russ, they got the PGs, they got the Carmelos.
Well, Utah's about to have a big name if they don't already.
But they don't have,
No, they don't.
do this without Gordon Hayward, who was their best player. They also lost George Hill. Now, Rubio is playing better than George Hill played for him last year.
I agree.
They lost Joe Johnson off their bench, who gave him quality.
Don't forget about your guy, I'm So Hood.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they lost. And then I see Jay Crowder out there still.
He's still out there.
Messing up.
He's out there messing up.
Minus 14.
So now back to my Oklahoma City Thunder and my identity crisis. This game told me once again, once and for all, it's Russ or bust in the fourth quarter. I think he can't be a point guard in the fourth quarter. I think if they're going to be the team I think that they should be in these tight games, Russ just has to basically say, I'm sorry, get out of my way, I got this. And either he's going to have it or he's not going to have it. Because look at these numbers in this fourth quarter. Is this not horrendous? Paul George is 0 for 6, Melo's 0 for 4, and Russ was 0 for 4. Well, usually if Russ will shoot 8 shots in the fourth quarter, he's going to make some shots. They went 1 for 10 from 3, and those big 3 made no three-point shots. But Russ had the 4 assists, but if you just let him be ball dominant and just take it over, what if the two don't go along for the ride? What if they just watch? I think that Russ could have got this game home.
Well, Skip, if you look at it, you look at Utah, they shot 15 more free throws. So somebody's going to the basket and somebody's settling for jumpers. It's hard. I mean, you can't get outshot by 15 on your home court, Skip. And not only did they get outshot by 15, they shot less than 70% from the foul line. Now, Utah could have made this game, could have made it moot because they shot less than 70% from the foul line. But
all that matters is the fourth quarter.
You trust,
just remember, Oklahoma City's up 5 at home going to the fourth quarter. And that happens.
Skip.
That's all you got.
Okay, you say you want Russ to be more ball dominant.
Just take the game. Just say it's my game.
How many times have you seen him shoot them out of the ball game, Skip? How many more times do you need to see it?
I've seen him win a bunch of them.
We just talked about this the other night, like in the regular season, where he missed his last 7 shots, and 3 of them were air balls, and you came in here livid. Now you want him to do this.
I've seen him win a bunch of them.
Yes.
He's made a bunch of big late clutch shots, too.
Shooting is not what he does. Now, if he can get into the lane, now he's streaky. Now, he get hot.
You know what he does? He just wills the ball in the basket. He does. And this was, I'm going to distribute. It's like LeBron's identity crisis. Who am I? Am I the distributor or am I just a flat-out selfish scorer? And LeBron's never quite sure. Which way do you want? Well, I'll be a little bit of both.
Well, here's the thing. The one thing that Russ has on him, in his favor, the 2 guys that are in the starting lineups have been number 1s before.
They have.
Only Kevin Love has ever been a true number 1. So everybody else has been role players. And when your role players know their role but don't do their role, that's when you run into problems. Skip, they're trying to make Paul George and Carmelo basically high-end role players. And it's hard when you've been the guy, because guess what? Paul George in Indiana was Russell Westbrook. Carmelo Anthony's been, I'm not saying Skip with the skill set, but I'm saying he was the guy that was getting the major shots.
Yep.
Carmelo Anthony, for the first time in 14 years, Skip, he's the 3rd best player on his team. He might be 4th. Steven Adams might be better here. So,
he might
but
be.
That's the first time.
I would agree with that. I think Steven Adams is better than Carmelo right now.
So he might
more valuable.
This is the first time that he's not getting the majority of the shots, and he's having to get deferred. He's the defer guy.
Yeah.
So if Russ doesn't do it, PG don't do it. Okay, Melo, your turn. And it's hard for him to get in the roles like that, Skip. This is a problem for them. It's going to be a problem. First of all, Utah is really the problem because they're long and they play at a pace, Skip. They don't give you a whole lot of second chances. And big Rudy Gobert, he blocking out the sun.
He does.
Derek Favors long.
Derek Favors plays hard.
Yes.
He's like Clint Capella. He plays that hard.
Yes.
So now the hole has been dug, and if the Thunder are going to be the team I think they can be, they have to go to Utah and win one of these games.
Got to.
Because you can't come back 3-1 now.
Yeah, I don't believe you can be 3-1 and then win the next 3.
Russ, you're on.
I mean,
solo out.
I know a guy who's done that.
Yeah.
I know a guy that's been down 3-1.
Because the
Hold on, Skip. Let me finish my story.
Wait, the guts and glue guy and the other team got suspended?
See,
for calling that guy the B word?
You know what, Skip Bayless? You the type of guy that go see a movie and then you go see see the movie again and then try to tell everybody what's going. Let me tell the story. I'm saying.
I would sit in the theater and turn around and say, "Hey, watch this."
You tell Ernestine, watch this.
Yeah. Well, she would have watched it with me the first time.
No, she's like, probably still. Yeah. But I know a guy that was down 3-1 in a situation that's never been done before.
Really?
Yeah, man. Skip.
Oh, I know. Kyrie Irving.
Don't do that,
Is that
Skip.
who we're talking about?
Don't do that. Hold on. All I know is the Boston Celtics are up 2-0 without the best player. Let me ask you a question. Where would Cleveland be if LeBron James was not playing? Do you think they would be 1-1?
I don't know. Maybe Boston's got a much better coach than you do. Maybe Brad Stevens is a much better coach than LeBron James. Have you thought of that?
Maybe Boston Celtics have a better
thought of that?
Has a better team.
LeBron needs more help.
Big J ain't got no answer for that whole 2-3.
No mercy.
Next up, Joel Embiid is listed as doubtful for tonight's Game 3 in Miami. He's been out since late March with a broken orbital bone. And after the Game 2 loss, he posted on Instagram that he was sick and tired of being babied. Sixers coach Brett Brown said Embiid did some contact work at practice Tuesday and passed the eye test. Shannon, what's going on here?
What's going on is that the Sixers are being cautious. But as I look back at it, Skip, I don't think they're being overly cautious. Joel Embiid is one day past. He had the surgery, Skip, on March 31st. Here we are, April 19th, April 20th?
Yep.
April 19th. So basically about 3 weeks. One day over 3 weeks.
Yep.
Skip, I had this very injury. Let me give you a little context. Skip, when I went to the surgeon, and he was the eye surgeon that was going to perform my surgery, he explained it to me like this. He said, Shannon, it was like you were in a bar fight, and a guy kicked you directly in the eye with his boot. I had a complete blowout of the orbital wall. So in other words, your eye sits...
Point to the orbital. It's
up in here.
It's the bone below your eye. Right. It's. Would you call it your cheekbone? I guess it's
No,
part of your cheekbone.
it's part of your cheek, but it's your eye. This is your eyeball, and it sits on the floor, just like this.
Yeah, it's below your eye.
I had a complete blowout.
Yep.
So they had to go in through the roof of my mouth, put a plate in. My eye sits on that now. So that's what he's done. Now I missed the last 3 weeks, Skip. Didn't play. So he's one day past 3 weeks. Now I ended up playing in the Pro Bowl, but that was a total of 7 weeks. Okay. If you look at this, Skip, and the way they've handled this man's injuries, there's a great chance. There's a 90% chance he does not play in round 1. There's a great chance that that's the way it's going to be.
Are you rooting for that?
No, I'm not rooting. I'm just telling you how it is, Skip, because I'm telling you now, I had the exact same injury. Now, I don't know if he had a complete blowout, but I had a complete blowout. And at 3 weeks, I did not play. He's one day past 3 weeks. So the likelihood of him playing in Game 3 or Game 4 is very, very minimal.
So 2 days ago, what did Joel Embiid post after the second game loss to your Miami Heat? What did he post?
He's bleeping tired of being babied.
Babied. I'm being babied. I'm ready to play. I can play. I'm healthy enough to play. I'll wear a mask. I'm being babied. And I don't get it because it feels to me like he's being babied. It feels to me like we're still trusting the process in Philadelphia, and the process says long-term, not short-term.
Yes.
The process is saying, let's focus on next year and the next year and the next year instead of the next game, which is obviously a Game 3 at the Heat that's going to be 50-50. Probably you have to give the edge to the Heat in that game, right?
Skip, let me ask you this, though. I know he's cleared concussion protocol, but the eye surgeon, the guy that performed that surgery, has he cleared Joel Embiid?
Is it an eye surgeon? I don't know. Do you remember, was your guy an eye
Yes.
surgeon?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Because this is just a facial bone. It's not inner eye now. It's not your retina or your cornea.
It's the ball. Your eye sits in a socket.
Okay.
I blew the floor out.
Yeah.
My eye dropped a couple of millimeters.
Okay, well then that would be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had to go in there, now the eye sits on a titanium plate. So I'm telling you, Skip, now 3 weeks, I did not come back. The season was over. He's one day past that.
Yep.
Now he's going to go. Now, we know the history of him and Hassan Whiteside. Kelly Olynyk, we know he throwing bows, knees, he's trying to get everything into the ball. Is that what you want to chance that, Skip? Or you would?
I would. That's just me, because every game has injury risk to it, and you just close your eyes and go forward.
No, you see, and here's the thing. Even though guys know the risk, they put them in there, then you come back and you sue the guy, something happens. Well, you should have protected me from myself. I agree. You know what? As I look back at it and I look at his injury and see how when he had the surgery and where he is now, I think there's a great chance he's not playing in Game 3. He's not playing in Game 4. I feel 85-90% he's not playing this series.
I still think Philly can barely win this series in 7 games without him. But I got to tell you, the Heat are for real. They're a legitimate threat. That they play hard. They play smart. They're well coached. They're well managed by Pat Riley. They play playoff style. extreme defense. That was
Yes.
extreme defense I saw.
It's hard for me to believe, Skip. Can you win a game? They won game one without Joel Embiid. It's hard for me to believe, Skip, you can win a series, and without your best player.
Yep.
Now, it looks like the Celtics might be able to pull this off without Kyrie, but this is a different animal.
Once again, that could be more about the Bucks than the Celtics. It could be.
Could be.
All right.
Could be.
So the irony of Joel Embiid is that the more serious injuries, not that this isn't serious, but he's got a foot issue that is going to be ongoing, a problem, could be career-threatening.
Yeah.
He has had back issues that could be career-threatening.
Yes.
So if you told me it's just the foot or the back, I'm like, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
You should be arch conservative here, highly patient with that. This is different. And yet, I read a story on ESPN.com yesterday that went like third-level stats on how good Joel Embiid is.
Yeah.
And I walked away from reading this thinking, this guy has already become maybe the most dominant player in basketball. I'm including Kevin Durant, LeBron James, whoever else you want to throw in there. Ben Simmons, most dominant player in basketball.
You look at their net efficiency.
Yeah.
When he's on the court with Ben Simmons, Saric, Covington, and J.J. Redick, they're plus 21.
That's a
the
great
depth
stat.
lineup
Starting
last
five.
year of
Yeah.
the Golden State Warriors
Yeah.
with Iggy into the starting lineup was plus 20.
And how about your LeBron lineup with Kyrie and that starting five the year before that
Yep.
came from 3-1 down?
Yep.
They were a plus 12.5.
So think about that.
So the Embiid starting five is better than the last two champions.
Skip.
Wow, interesting.
And I get it, but when you look at it, I mean, and I know he wants to play. And when you lose a ball game, you're the
Yep.
best player. You always feel there's something that you could do to help this team win.
Yep.
But the doctor's going to err on the doctors. I don't believe he's cleared medically. He's cleared concussion protocol. But that guy that performed that surgery on that eye, like, nah, bro, you're not finna put my medical license at risk.
Maybe not. One final stat from that article yesterday. If you look at the defensive side, that, again, this is a third-level stat, but when Joel Embiid, again, he didn't let's just put this in this perspective. He played 63 of 82 games. When he did play, he averaged 30 minutes. So it's not like huge minutes,
Right.
but reasonable minutes. So as the closest defender to a play this season, for the whole season, he limited the opposing players to an effective field goal percentage of 41%. That was the best in the NBA. And when he was on the floor, the Sixers vaulted it as an interior defensive team from 9th best to 1st best. Well, that's extraordinary impact.
He's
So
skilled.
He's putting up Wilt Chamberlain
Yes.
kind of numbers
Yes.
on offense in limited minutes.
Right.
And he's lifting the starting five up to a net that's beyond the last two champions. So this is off the charts what he can do for a team when he comes on the floor, because as we know, just in intangibles, just in attitude, swag, however you want to, he's not afraid of anybody.
Yeah, Skip, they're a big team.
Yeah.
You got 7'2" Embiid. You got 6'11" Simmons. You got Covington. You got Saric. So they got length.
Saric and Ilyasova are 6'10".
Yeah, so they can challenge. They can challenge you at the rim.
Yep.
And then they've turned themselves into a three-point shooting team. Okay, the shots aren't falling. If you got 7'2", there's nobody can deal with him one-on-one, Skip.
Nope.
We've never seen an offensive talent like this. Maybe guys that were better, Olajuwon had the moves. Wilt was more athletic. But, Skip, they couldn't shoot that three-pointer like he can.
Yep, that's true.
This dude is special. So I get it. I don't even think, if he's playing, Skip, I don't even think this series is close. I think they would sweep him. But they got their hands full now.
Which is why I picked the Sixers to win the East and beat your team in 7 games. And it would be
We got our hands full right
hellacious.
now. We ain't
You
worried
got
about the
your
Sixers.
hands
We got our hands full.
Okay, but again, if you get by Indiana, I think you'll get by who would be next? Is
Baby
Toronto
dinosaurs.
next? Yeah, this.
You see how they play and Skip over DeMar DeRozan, cook him. But I don't know
Cooking who?
I don't know what they're going to do. They need to break that up, Skip.
I think they need to break it up.
They need to break that
I
up.
agree. Troubled team.
Remember, this isn't the first injury that Joel Embiid's had to that eye either.
Yeah, he had
Kansas.
one in Kansas, but I think that was an actual got raked in the eye.
I agree with you, Skip. The feet and the back's going to be a problem because this man is, 24 years of age?
Yeah, but
He's going to get older.
You need your eyes to play basketball.
Oh, yeah. But and you don't want it, because here's the thing, Skip. The eye's probably sitting on a plate. That thing's not healed. He takes another eye, another elbow to the eye, a head to the eye, and then what?
Gotta be careful.
Ain't a whole lot of one-eyed basketball
Did
players.
you wear a mask when you played in the Pro Bowl?
I had a shield.
Okay.
I had a shield.
Yeah.
No mercy.
We're 1 week away from the NFL draft, and we're joined now by Joel Klatt, who will be there in Dallas. Welcome, Joel. Good morning.
I just got all excited because I heard Gus's voice. You know, like it reminds me of being in the booth. That's right.
Fired up.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of reports right now that Saquon Barkley is the guy the Giants are targeting with the number 2 pick. Could you see them taking him?
You know, I can see the Giants doing any number of things, really any number of 4 things. And that's why I think it's the most intriguing, pick of the entire draft, because the draft starts at number 2. I think they could go pass rusher with Bradley Chubb. I think they could go with a quarterback. They could trade the pick, or they could take the most dynamic offensive threat in the draft, Saquon Barkley.
Are you 100% sure Sam Darnold to Cleveland? Are you booking
I'm
that?
100% that Cleveland takes a quarterback.
Okay.
So regardless of which one they take Josh Allen or Sam Darnold, I think that the draft starts at 2. Because all the dominoes fall after the Giants select. Now, if Cleveland takes Sam Darnold, I think that Saquon Barkley should be the pick for the Giants because Eli Manning's 37 years old. At that age, we've seen some guys have a lot of success, but we've seen them do it with a very specific style of offense. Tom Brady and Drew Brees, while you don't think that they play similar games, that's true, but if you take a deeper dive into it, what they do is protect themselves with timing. Shannon, they get the ball out of their hands very quickly. They have offenses that allow running backs and slot receivers to get open quickly so that Brees and Brady don't have to hold the ball in the pocket.
Right.
That's exactly what they need to do in New York for Eli Manning. Get him offensive players that can allow him to elongate his career. And I think that's a perfect mold for Saquon Barkley. While he might not be a 25 carry a game guy in a true tailback sense, you can throw it to him, toss it to him, screen it to him. You can do so many different things with Barkley that allow Manning to have more success as now he gets up into that late 30s range. So that's why I think Barkley's the best fit. I know in my mock I have Josh Allen going to New York, but that was a number of different factors and more of a projection rather than what I think should happen. What should happen is Barkley to the Giants because of the Manning factor. Remember now, this guy is the most dynamic offensive threat, and it's because you can get him the ball in a multitude of different ways. Guys, that's what Manning needs.
Okay.
Me personally, I think Eli is closer to the end, and they should take a quarterback. That's just me personally. I don't know what film the Giants watched, but did they see Eli last year? Skip, they set him down for a reason. The ownership demanded that. That's not Ben McAdoo's call. They put it on Ben McAdoo.
Obviously, he lost key targets and
Yes.
they couldn't protect him, but go ahead.
Yes, but if you're not going to take a quarterback, it would be hard-pressed to pass on Saquon Barkley. 2 years ago, they were 29th in rushing. Last year, they were 26th. Skip, that's not good enough. Eli is not one of these guys. I don't believe at this juncture of his career, he can carry you with his arm like he once could. Remember, Drew Brees sat on our stage in Houston and said, we need to get that running game back. He was throwing for 5,000, 4,800 yards, wasn't sniffing the playoffs. He get those running backs like he had last year, Ingram and Kamara, and all of a sudden, Drew Brees looked like the Drew Brees of old.
But Kamara just fell out of the sky. Right?
And
Right in
Mark
his
Ingram,
lap.
right.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's what they need to get back to, take some of that pressure because Tom Brady's still Tom Brady.
Yep.
Eli Manning does not look like Tom Brady at 37. He does not look like
does
Drew
not.
Brees at
I agree.
37.
But some of that is offensive systems.
Yes.
They're sitting in the pocket, waiting for Odell Beckham down the field, and that leads to hits.
But they addressed Nate Solder. They got a left
Big
tackle.
deal.
They
Big
trade
deal.
they traded away JPP, so they got to. So
No more Eric Flowers. Yep.
we're going to see.
Yep.
But I believe if they don't take a I would personally think they should take a quarterback, get ready to move forward from Eli Manning in a year or two.
Who do you think best fits them quarterback-wise? I actually
who's
think
Cleveland
Rosen.
taking?
I think Cleveland takes Darnold, and I think Rosen probably fits best with New York. His personality that fits in New York. I don't think it turns
I think
people
Josh
off
Allen.
there.
I think Josh Allen would fit better. For the simple fact, it's a big city. He's from and played in Wyoming, Skip, but his personality. I mean, I think he just seems like an even keel demeanor guy. Rosen, I mean, some of the things that you've been hearing, I don't know. His his former head coach didn't give him a glowing endorsement.
Yeah.
He might have just been protecting him from Cleveland, though.
Okay.
You never know.
I'm going to say what I've been saying from the start about this draft. I don't love it. I just don't love it. Some drafts just aren't very good, and you look back 5 years later and you say, yeah.
You sound like Sean Payton.
I do. I brought his quote out here today because I'm not just talking about the quarterbacks either. I'm talking about the whole draft. I'm talking about Saquon. Let's do Saquon first. It scared me last year in his two biggest tests. He goes to Ohio State and then he goes to Michigan State. And he looks pedestrian to me. He looked like just another back. We've had him on the show. Did you cross his path? I can't remember.
I've met Saquon several times. Unbelievable
He's
kid.
unbelievable high character. I don't know if you could. I saw quotes last night. Everybody's calling him a Boy Scout. He is the highest quality. You can trust him. However good he can be, he will be for you.
No doubt.
I'm just not sure because I look at those two games at Ohio State. He ran the opening kickoff back, so you got that. If you want him as a kick returner, you might have some.
No, you're not going to use him with that.
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying. But he goes 22 for 44 against Ohio State. It's just not good enough. And then at Michigan State, 14 for 63. He caught 4 balls in the first game, 3 balls in the second game. And then I look back, and I keep saying, Ezekiel Elliott, you want to talk special? You could see explosive special in college. Those 3 straight games at the end of his sophomore year. Remember the Big Ten championship game against Wisconsin, Alabama national semifinal, Oregon national final. He goes for 220, 230, and 246. It's special. It's where you're saying that is transcendent. We don't see that very often kind of production at the college level. And we all know running backs will translate. When they can run it in college, especially in a big league against high-level competition, they will be able to run it in pro football. I'm not sure Saquon's that difference maker, but I do agree. Is it a need? It's a glaring need for Eli. So if you're going forward with Eli, I guess you just say, is he worth the second overall pick? I don't think so. And it's back to the Mel Kiper theory that goes back and forth about are running backs always overvalued? Is this too high to take a running back? I would say it is. If you just convince me that we're going with Eli, we got to have a running back. He's the best running back in the draft, so we're just going to waste or spend the second pick in the draft on him. Okay, God bless you. But with the quarterback group, to me, I'm back to what Sean Payton says, and I don't want to read the whole quote, but he said that he's talking about how the pressure to get a quarterback in this league is so great. He said, I get that, but we can't create them. So you're stuck without a quarterback, and then you go into the draft with your eyes bigger than your stomach, so to speak. You know, like you're in the buffet line and you're looking, and it's not that great of food. It's not worth the calories, right? And you look at these, and he says that he wouldn't be surprised if only one of these top guys is left standing in 4 or 5 years. And if so, he says, I guess it would be Sam Darnold. Now we're to which of those quarterbacks do you love the most or the least, you know, because I'm not sure they're worth. So you're going back and forth. I don't like Josh Rosen. I don't like his intangibles. I wouldn't like him in New York. I think the New York media would eat him alive. But I'm with Shannon about this. There is a glaring need at quarterback with the Giants. I saw erosion in Eli. I just saw erosion. I saw production drop off. I did not see a Tom Brady going toward age 40 where he's going to be playing at that high. He beat Tom Brady twice in Super Bowls. I can't take that away. But that's about all. And I'm not sure about if this new regime is really, are they going to bet the house on Eli going forward?
That's when you get into the quarterback situation. Because listen, one or both of those New York teams are going to take a quarterback. You know, I have Baker going to New York at
well, let's
3.
do that. Next up, Sports Illustrated told a story back in January in which Baker Mayfield said he will definitely be drafted in the top 5, and Joel had Baker going to the Jets with a 3rd pick in his latest mock draft. So, Joel, do you still see Baker going there?
I do. I think that's a great fit for him with New York. I think that his bravado fits well with the Jets and that organization.
I agree.
I think that his play has been overlooked because as a society and more maybe a media-driven narrative, we want to focus on all these, you know, quote-unquote antics, you know, off the field. And listen, I get it. And some teams are going to be turned off by some of that, in particular the arrest down in Arkansas. That's problematic. There's no question about that. However, I will say this, that this media narrative that this cockiness is bad is false, all right? Because NFL personnel like that. They want that. You know why? Every game, not every single game, but most every game comes down to what, Shannon? 1 possession. It's a 1-possession game in the 4th quarter. And to be cheesy and borrow a movie line from A Few Good Men, he's like Nathan Jessup. You want me on that wall. You need me on the wall. You want the cockiness in the huddle. You want it in the pocket. If you're a tight end, a running back, an offensive lineman, you want the guy that believes that at all costs, we're getting to the end zone. I don't really care what's going on, and that's what Mayfield has. It's that intangible that I think makes him so special, and why the NFL personnel that I talk to are much higher on Mayfield than the media personnel that are evaluating this draft on the periphery. That's why I think he's a good fit in New York. Heck, I think he might even be a good fit for either New York team, but I think Mayfield is a guy that will get selected in the top 5, and outside of Darnold has the least bust factor of on-field playing ability. I think he's a really quality player.
I like emotion, but I just like a controlled emotion. And I don't got to mind the cockiness, but some of the childish stuff, the crotch grabbing and all the others, we can do without that. Now, here's the thing. Now, you can ignore the check engine light as long as you want to. These red flags are there, Skip. Yeah, they're there.
I don't disagree.
And I don't care how we try to dress it up and say, well, he was this and he was that. They're there. Mm-hmm. And so at some point in time, there were red flags with some other guys. It's like, oh, no, come on, man. He gonna grow up. Once we, get him out of the situation, he got to go to school. He gonna be a professional, and they'll tell you everything you want to hear. But they're there. Now you can choose to ignore them if you want to, but that's gonna weigh heavily. Now his height, I want to. You can't take anything away from his college career.
No.
When you play big-time football like he did in a big-time conference.
This is the highest level of production over the last 2 years.
So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yep.
How many snaps did you think in his career at Oklahoma he took from under center?
Very small percentage, under 5% of his snaps. They took a few from short yardage situations. He certainly looks uncomfortable under center. But remember now, the NFL is now more 75% in the shotgun. So it's not as big of a deal as it was 10 years ago.
So it's going to be very interesting. But, Skip, for me, I think it's probably more likely he'll be slightly outside of the top 5 than in the top 5.
And he flat out says, I will not last past 5, says Baker Mayfield. So that's
Denver.
Broncos?
Yeah, Denver has the 5th pick.
Is that going to just tear you apart if they take
State Tiger?
Yeah.
Oh. You know what? You know what's interesting about John? And listen, I grew up in Denver, right? I grew up on John Elway, right? And he has made some bad selections at that position in the draft. Mm-hmm. Paxton Lynch, Brock Osweiler. These have not panned out.
Yeah.
And he went for a very prototypical size, arm, athleticism kind of package with those guys. Mm-hmm. I think he might totally break the mold and be like, nope, I'm going with the attitude. I'm going with the competitiveness that I had. Remember the old story now. He lost at pool to Gary Kubiak and sold the pool table because he couldn't do it competitively. Maybe he goes more towards the competitive nature than he does the physical attributes.
Baker Mayfield can wing it now. He's got a nice arm.
Yeah.
And he can throw it deep, too. I'm going to amend Sean Payton's bottom line quote to maybe only one of these guys will be standing in 4 or 5 years. I think it would be Baker Mayfield, but I do not disagree with anything you say. And there are Johnny Manziel comparisons. And just a quick aside, I ran into Johnny the other day and had a good long talk with him. And he looks not good. He looks great. He almost looked like he's grown an inch. It felt like he was 6'1". His body looks sensational. He's built back up from that waif that we saw, TMZ video. And he, of course, doing all the right things. Now you got to go play the right things, right? You got to do it for So God bless him. I hope he gets a shot to come back. But I don't know. He's got a lot to prove to a lot of people, as does this young man.
Yep.
So would I risk those high picks? If I was forced, if I said, I got to have a quarterback, I'm going to bet on him just because if you can keep him barely within bounds, he's going to be the best performer of this whole group. And I'm going to say this again. I've said it from the start. It depends who has final say in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But if Hugh Jackson has final say, I'm not going to be surprised if they take Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
Not going to be surprised.
I think if it's Dorsey's final say, they probably go Allen.
They would. I would agree. And if it's the owner's final say, it's a gut feeling they would take Darnold off the Rain Pro Day.
But here's the thing.
You're probably right. Yeah. You're probably right.
Here's the thing. But if I'm taking a quarterback high, there can be no question marks off the field.
Okay.
If you want to question his accuracy, you want to question his ability to stay
what
healthy.
If you have glaring need? Then what do? Pass? You're going to just say, I'll take the best offensive tackle? Or
No. I'm just saying, but Skip, I mean, that's the one position. I mean, other positions you can get away with being, okay, yeah, he's a little bad boy. But the quarterback,
No, I
if
know.
he got to be buttoned up. They want him buttoned
If
up.
Darnold's off the board, listen, he's the one that doesn't have the off-the-field problems.
Yes.
He's got the production. I get it if Darnold goes over Mayfield. I understand because you are right. The check engine light is on for a reason.
Yes.
And you hope it's just a tune-up.
Right.
And you hope it's not something more serious. I'm going to give, listen, I've been a little bit of a Mayfield defender here, but 2 more points on Mayfield. I think that the Manziel comparisons clearly are just there for a couple of off-field antics, but on the field, they're not even close to the same guy. Manziel was not schematically
Sound.
fluent, or sound. I mean, he didn't understand the game. Mayfield
He
understands
recently-
the game.
Johnny had recently admitted
He didn't know the
X's and
playbook.
O's.
When you talk to NFL personnel, they'll say on the whiteboard, Baker Mayfield is the best of any of
I
these
believe that.
quarterbacks. It's schematically talking about the game. He's fluent in football. And another thing is I'll go back to that second half, fourth quarter type of a deal in one possession games. Did you know of these 4 quarterbacks, these top 4 quarterbacks? You go back to last season and how they performed in one possession games in the second half. Mayfield threw 11 touchdowns. No other quarterback had more than 4. I mean, he outplayed these guys in tight situations 2, 3-fold in those big moments. So if you're looking for a guy that's going to go out there and help you win football games, then Mayfield's going to be your guy. If you're looking for a guy to go out there and be, squeaky clean for the fan base, then you're probably going to go a different direction.
We got to leave it there. Round 1 coverage begins next
turn my phone?
Thursday, 8 p.m.
No?
Eastern
Okay.
on Fox. No, you cannot.
You might need 3
Joel,
or 4
thanks for
phones.
joining us.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. We're off tomorrow, but keep an eye out for a weekend edition of the podcast featuring some of this week's best segments and discussions. Join us for more Undisputed at the same time on Monday morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports. One of one.